thank you all for doing this. This is one of those situations where, yes, there's a movie to promote, but there's a bigger cause at hand, and you are all doing wonderful work. So thank you first and foremost for all that. So first, I'm going to work this around and embarrass each of you a little bit, and then we'll ask about the movie. And the first thing is, Luke, have you ever been confused for James Shaffer from the band Korn, Monkey Shaffer?
Amazing.
This is a good question. Can you hear me? Yeah, this is a good question. And yes, it's happened a couple times. I did like a summer series thing a couple years ago, and they put my name as James Shaffer. So the person who booked me got confused. And then people showed up expecting the dude from Korn, and it definitely wasn't him. I was like, okay, that's sorry guys, I'm not playing any Korn tonight. So if you want to go home, that's cool. But you know, happens. It is what it is.
It happens. Well, on the website of your company, you talk about the challenge of writing 52 songs in 52 weeks. Wow, that is a daunting task to say the least. Now, let me ask your buddies over here. Is Luke the most prolific of you three when it comes to crafting anything?
Absolutely not.
Luke, I will tell you this. Though we dabble a lot in audio production, we definitely aren't writing at the pace that Luke's writing out. From his songwriting
Luke's incredible.
Yeah. Luke is always coming up with great stuff, and so we just try to stay in tune with it, and you know, and hang out with Luke as much as we can, so we can get him on some of our stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, Daniel, you had solid state work, so you've done things in a high level musically. Michael, 18-year U.S. veteran, plus the head of media productions over there. So all of you bring something to the table. When did you all meet? I know that's like, hey, who answers this one? But how did it all come together with the company?
So we all have different pathways to where we are now. But Mike and I have been friends for 30 years.
Well, allegedly.
Begrudgingly, yeah. We have, which has been really unique. But through the majority of that, the reason we always kind of stayed connected, for better or for worse, was music. And Mike and I, though Mike, you know, devoted 18 years to his military service, we actually signed a record deal together, which was what The Secret State was. So though I was, you know, singing in the band and trying to hog all the attention, Mike was actually the drummer in that band. Yeah. You know, the narrative behind the band at that point was very military focused, even if that at that point that wasn't Mike's prerogative. So Mike was really the superstar of it. He just doesn't want to admit it. And then for myself, I got, after my lead singer musical endeavors, I went into really the business side of things, and I helped with an indie label in DC. And my first opportunity to work with an artist was Luke, who I had actually met through a friend, and brought Luke in. And Luke and I have 4 years of history and stories, and of ups and downs, and everything in between. And because of that, you know, we became really close friends. And so, long story short, that's how we got to Bastards Road. When we got involved in the opportunity with Brian Morrison, who's the director, and, you know, he was basically like, hey, I want songs in this vein. Luke is one of my closest friends, but also one of the best songwriters I know.
Right.
So I was like, hey, dude, do you want to do this? You'll also sound great based on the types of songs that they want. And he
came in and crushed. I mean, it was a couple sessions, and I think we were even blown away by how seamless, you know, the three of us plus the director, Brian, were able to sit in a room and just, you know, create what we did.
Yeah, It was awesome. It was fun.
The way that we know that this is live-ish is that I called your band the wrong name, and I'm owning
which is right hilarious. There. Everybody, when we were touring, would call us that. It's a static state, solid state, everything.
Honestly, it was a name we didn't choose. We had to change from. So we're the Alisana Collective. Our original band name was Alisana. We had to change that because the publishing company we were with, there was another band with a very similar name.
Yeah.
And so they were basically like, hey, you guys have like a week to change your name. And we just weren't prepared for that.
Yeah.
And so we ended up with something that just is what it is.
Yeah.
So that being said, and they also wiped everything off the internet because we had like hundreds of millions of fake views from our label.
Yeah.
So therefore, like most of that stuff is erased. But yeah, there you go.
But here we are today talking about Bastards Road and all that.
Yeah.
When did you come on board with this project?
I think we all entered at different times. I got on board relatively early in the process. Brian reached out to me as, we were friends for a long time, starting from our Secret State days. And he reached out, showed me some early cuts and was like, as a veteran, what do you think about all this? So I was kind of involved with the film that way. He and I would meet up for pizza once a month and kind of discuss the film. And then, he turned to Dan who turned to Luke to start doing some of the music. And that's where Dan was like, hey, do you want to get involved? I've been doing some audio engineering for his company at the time. And, so I was like, absolutely, anything to help out a veteran. And that's kind of how the pathway started for us. And it was relatively late in the game for the film from the production side. Was about 2017, I would say 2018,
2019.
Yeah, and the film started filming in 2015, so it was relatively late in the process.
And going in like creating songs, so we basically had to replace 10 tracks, which is
okay,
which is a very interesting thing. Basically, late stage of the game, Brian was like, "Hey, I have these songs, I want to replace them. By the way, I'm in love with these songs." And so, that's a really unique challenge because no matter what we create, it's going to be different. And so I think we were really, because of the fact that we knew each other for so long and we understood more about the film because we had been close with Brian, the creation of the songs we say was seamless. It doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
And then, everything kind of happened the way, like the timing was impeccable for everything. And I think that's why the energy of the music and all of it worked so well.
Yeah.
Luke, is all this correct by you? You don't have any contradictory facts to this? Because let's face it, anytime you have more than two people in a creative process, there's always but you forgot about that phone call and there was that meeting and you didn't do those revisions.
Well, honestly, I got brought in for just a small portion of it. So we did a couple songs. We wrote more than ended up on the actual film, but we had maybe 4 or 5 sessions and that was like it. And then we, virtually figured everything else out on the side. But yeah, as far as I know, because they're the guys who really talk to Brian the most, everything seems accurate from my point of view.
I will tell you from a engineering standpoint, an audio engineering standpoint, I was petrified to work with Luke to begin with because I'd seen all of his videos online. He was like this amazing artist, probably the most amazing artist I'd ever worked with. And I was like, how am I going to mess this recording up? It was still kind of like my earlier days of actually tracking for people. I was a mix engineer for a while. But I was petrified when Luke walked in the room, and I was just trying not to stumble all over myself. But
you did great, bro.
Yeah, but he was very patient with me, and we got the product that we did. So yeah, we're excited.
It was good. When it comes to creating music, it really helps when people are really good at what they do because then the engineering aspect of it and everything else is more byproduct. If you have a great voice and you have natural talents. You don't have to do a lot of extra work to make it sound good.
Yeah, right.
And so really our job
is great. This is so much fun for me.
So it was a great process, man.
As somebody who's taping interviews still 5-6 days a week, one of the things I say is, so when did you finish this project? When did you film it? When did you make it? And I'm literally getting responses of 2016. The projects that have come out during COVID-19 have been a mix of production delays, things that were maybe forgotten, and things that were actually made during COVID-19. Some things were actually rushed through and trafficked through and actually faster than normal. So when was Bastards Road finally tracked, finished, done compared to the release date?
Oh, man.
Well, that's a really great question. We came in, it was 2019. So Mike had been consulting since 2017. We created the music in November of 2019, I believe, somewhere around there.
I think so.
Maybe it was a little before that. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, Brian was like 3 months later, once we hit 2020, he's like, hey, we got into all these film festivals, including Santa Barbara and Slam Dance. Do you guys want to go? And Mike and I looked at this as hell yeah, we're going to go. We're going to go support the film. We've been close friends for a long time. And so we sat down in the theater with, a bunch of people we didn't know and watched the film for the first time.
Yeah,
with the music
in it. And we had never actually seen the film with the music in it. And so it hit us just as hard as
it was one of the better experiences of my life, just in terms of understanding the raw emotion of the film, seeing your music in it. So there's that extra added bonus, but like being a part of a community, whether you're a veteran or not a veteran, where people felt connected after watching the film.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful for us, being like, dude, this is what we want to do for a living. And that's really where the birth of the Alisana Collective came.
Yeah.
We were like, we want to make sure we're involved in passion projects and things that we love, because we don't want to lose this feeling. Now, granted, you're not going to get a Bastards Road scenario every time you work on something,
Right.
But that's the goal, right? To have that type of impact and to be involved with people and to feel those emotions when you work on art. So,
yeah.
And that all leads to, well, if this project was started in 2017 by some people, 2019 by other people, and it's done, then I have to work the room and say, well, what's next? What are you working on now if you're not under an NDA? So I'll take that to Luke first.
Oh man, I'm always doing songwriting, man. I'm an original artist first and foremost, and so I write songs for other people sometimes. I work with a couple websites, and I enjoy like writing songs in my basement, essentially. Gigs are coming back in the DMV area, so I'm playing a lot of gigs right now, and I get to work with these guys every now and again. We shot the video for Moses not that long ago, and it turned out really well, so I'm really excited about that. I'm doing whatever comes my way. It's great. I'm playing music full time and making a living. I can't complain.
So let's call that tastefully hustling.
Exactly.
right.
Okay, that's fair.
Perfect. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah,
That's
love
going to be the name of our next band.
Well, I got your old band name wrong, so
I like this one much better.
This is great.
Do you guys, can you clue me in on what's next if you're not under NDAs, or what I'm learning, if Deadline.com has not announced it, you're not allowed to talk about it yet?
We've been pretty heavily involved in the video production side of things, working with a number of different small to mid-tier businesses to really help create marketing assets for them.
Yeah,
that's where our life has transitioned to. Right. But it's very creative still. So though we aren't as heavily invested in the audio production as we used to be, there are still aspects of that we're involved in. We're doing a really unique project next week. Actually, we're flying out to Colorado and following 4 veterans up a 14,000-foot summit. Yep. As their way of recovering from PTSD. So a lot of similarities to
we'll get to write the music to that, and we're also in talks right now with a few different indie docs that have reached out based on what they've seen from Bastards Road, and have inquired as to what it might look like to start sketching some ideas together for them. So yeah.
Luke, we'll be reaching out to somebody.
Hey Luke, how you doing, man?
So
so that's kind of where we're at.
That's actually a wonderful thing, when you just saying, Luke, we'll reach out to you on that, is, as somebody who comes from the music industry, you find that usually people don't work together on a second project. That doesn't happen. So I'm just getting so much warmth now.
We'll reach out to him. Doesn't mean he's actually going to say yes and come back.
Yeah. You're keeping it pushing, no demo fees.
It's funny that you say that. I think one thing that's great about Luke and about us working together is we're pretty good at writing in different styles, which is very important because not everything we put out is going to sound the same. But also having proper energy in sessions and getting along with people as you create. This is going to sound kind of cheesy, but as artists, this, it's the ultimate catalyst for creating proper stuff for whatever you're working on. And so I trust Luke implicitly with stuff like that. Like I want him in sessions. I want to work with him creatively. as a friend. All the things that you would want in creative sessions are the reason we always go back to that well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like we have a really tight knit network of artists we work with, and Luke is one of those people that will always call.
And he likes whiskey.
Yeah.
And we all love whiskey here,
I was gonna say we just like write songs and drink. It's amazing.
It really is. We try to that can go one way really fast. So,
that's
so we like hide the bottle from each other.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 totally unrelated quick questions to work around, and then you were all free. And the first one is, when I was at my most publishing-oriented part of my music industry work, it was interesting to see which sound-alike songs they were always seeking. I remember at one point, every production house is going, we want a version of Clocks by Coldplay.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What are the songs these days that you're seeing on creatives without outing yourselves as having copied anything? What are some of those songs that you're seeing a lot circulated of? We want something that sounds just enough like it, but isn't that?
Luke, you want to take that one?
Well, I've got one specific that I've seen many times is like Billie Eilish. Everyone wants to sound just like this kind of very moody, it's upbeat, but it's slow at the same time. And it's like super moody, and, it'll last for a little while, and then the next thing will come along. So see.
Yeah.
Any picks for you guys to add to that one?
Yeah, it's funny. In my previous place of work, a lot of the opportunity was to find sound-alikes for different music.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of always noticed with that, though, if you're trying to sound like everything that's out there when you are creating, you're probably going to create a very is ungenuine a word?
Right.
Yeah.
Ungenuine.
It's not going to come. I understand what the asks are, right? But at the end of the day, it's very similar to what we did with Bastards Road. Hey, here's a temp track. Write something that sounds like it. One of the songs was a Ray LaMontagne song. We're not going to write a song that sounds like Ray, but we're going to include the elements of folk and strings but we're going to do it the way we know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you're getting an original version anyways. If you try to copy something to a T, one, it will still be different, but two, you lack that authenticity that I think really hurts artists who are potentially trying to do that for a living.
Right. And that's why collaboration, I think, is so important, because you have 3 people from 3 vastly different backgrounds. I'm a classical violinist. I have basically one pocket I can put my violin into. And so when they're like, marry this up with some, with a folk vibe, that kind of forces me to apply that one pocket that I'm confident in and try to get the best thing that I can, out of that. So that gives the song an entirely different flavor. So I think that's why collaboration is so important. You can always start like angling towards a specific genre, style, artist, song, whatever. But then by the time you have all these other flavors coming in, it's completely different.
Yeah.
My favorite sound-alike or substitution I've ever heard was the MTV sketch comedy show, The State, which was on MTV in the mid-90s. And pretty much all the cast has now gone on to writing big movies and starring and stuff. They, I guess, didn't clear the rights very long. So when it went to video, they didn't have them. So there was a thing where they wanted to use Panama by Van Halen, and they put a sound-alike called Canada that sounds just like it. So
that is
every now and then you'll see an inspired sound-alike that's just awesome. But
yeah,
that leads me to my second unrelated question to anything, and that's, who was the better singer of Van Halen? Was it David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Oh God, man.
For me, it's not even close. Everything about David Lee Roth was right for that time period, etc. Like, to me, the latter was it became very corporate in my mind in every aspect. Not that his vocals aren't incredible.
Vocals are incredible, but yes.
But it just, the energy was just so different. And so for me, it's not even as much about the voice as is the energy of the human being and what made Van Halen.
And their story. Yeah, exactly.
So, and plus you have the greatest, rest in peace guitarist, maybe of the past several generations. So that was a big part of it.
Luke, are you on the page here, or did I just create a rift in the partnership?
No, 100%. I agree.
I like it.
And then my last question for everyone is, besides Bastards Road, what's a TV or movie pick from each of you for somebody who needs a new thing to watch on one of their streaming preference-oriented channels, outlets, etc.?
That is a tough question. So my girlfriend recently got me into The World's Toughest Race, which I think was from 2019 or 2020. And that's on Amazon Prime for all of you people out there in Cyberland. But it's about like 60 teams that go through like the hardest race, outdoor adventure race you'll ever see. And I've actually really connected with this father-son team where the son has taken the father who has Alzheimer's through basically the wilderness, the mud, all the stuff. So I've been connecting with that one recently. Highly recommend it.
Luke, you want to go next?
Well, I don't know if anybody's heard of this show called Game of Thrones, but I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna lie, I really love Cobra Kai. I know it's like kind of a kid's show. It started out as that kind of, but then I was like, this is amazing. And I watched every season that's out right now. I love it. So definitely check it out if you can. If you like the Karate Kid, it's so good.
Of course.
Man, that was a good one. So one I'm insanely excited for, because I know it started filming again, was the 3rd season of Succession. I love that show. I love the dynamic. I love the humor. And so I'm excited for that. It's well worth seasons 1 and 2 on HBO if you haven't yet. But yeah, that's probably my favorite thing out right now.
Alan Ruck. Can't go wrong with Alan Ruck.
No, man.
He wasn't just Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well,
I love that movie.
Well, I have to thank all 3 of you, not only for your time, but spotlighting a great, great, great thing through this movie. And it sounds like everyone has wonderful projects coming up as well. So please keep on doing what you're doing, and looking forward to seeing what is next from everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you for
Darren,
having
thanks
us.
so much for having us, man. We appreciate your
Darren.
time and love and support on all this, man.
Paltrocast.